Dad Life presents Screen Geeks, a live TV and film talk show. Tonight we're going to talk about the finale and the entire first season of HBO Max's Peacemaker. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Screen Geeks. My name is Jay. And with me, as always, on this journey of screen geekery is my good friend, Ralph. Ralph, how you doing tonight, my friend?
I'm doing great. We got the finale of Peacemaker. And it was really good. Really good.
I only have one question for you, Ralph.
Do you really want to taste that?
That's the only question. If we lived in the same town, we could have choreographed that for our open.
Did you skip it once? Did it get to a point where you just
Never.
decided you? Yeah, neither did I.
It is an unskippable. HBO Max, every time they put the little thing down there in the corner, skip now, is like, don't even bother with Peacemaker because it's so freaking good. Let's say hello to the chat. Let's see, we got B-Town here. Michael Miller can't join because he hasn't watched it yet, so I understand Michael Miller. Mecha Manblade is here. Do you really want to take? Exactly, that's the question everyone wants to know. Adam Smedberg, what up, everyone? We need more psychics like Eagly. I agree completely. Kayla Silva is here. Scott Baker won't be able to watch it with us tonight, but I want to at least say hi. If you can't watch or right now with us because it just premiered today, that is okay. Come back afterwards. But definitely hit that like button on your way out. David B is here. Brandon 3G Overman, the lovely Mrs. Colleen Glatfelter. And let's see, we've also got Rare Blend is in the house saying Peacemaker is by far the most epic DC show, up there with Marvel. And Boo Cat, hello everybody. Hello, Boo Cat. All right, so Ralph.
Right.
The finale dropped today. Actually, but before I get into any of that, there's a very special day tomorrow. And one of my dearest friends' birthday is tomorrow. And it's none other than you, Ralph.
Hey.
Birthday.
That's me.
And this is the 50th episode of Screen Geek.
That's right. It is.
So let's round of applause. 50 episodes. And
3 years.
Happy birthday to you, Ralph. It was funny on Monday. I think it was Monday. They dropped the trailer for season 2 of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, which I'm sure we'll review here on this channel whenever that season drops. But I was like, hey, do you want to jump on and do a thing for the trailer? They're like, no, I'm at Disneyland for my birthday.
So it was Valentine's Day. It wasn't for my birthday. For my birthday, I'm going to the James Bond Museum. So,
ooh, very nice. Yeah. Awesome. Yes, give Ralph some happy birthday love if you
Thank you, everybody.
And a happy 50th. It's not your 50th birthday though.
You're not far off. You're not far off.
But you're a Star Wars baby, right? So you still got a long time till 50.
Long time.
All right. So okay. Now that we got all the festivities out of the way here, the finale dropped today, and we're to say the best DC show ever. Rare Blend, Peacemaker's by far the most epic DC show, up there with Marvel. Ralph, you are a DC diehard.
Right.
Nice alliteration there. What's your thoughts on this series? And
my thought on that particular comment is that I think it exceeds Marvel, including Marvel shows.
I agree. This is I think this is the best comic book show, and it's far surpasses Marvel shows. No, I do like the Disney Plus Marvel shows. Haven't dug the ABC shows so much, but this actually feels like it's on par with a movie quality. It was fantastic. But please finish your thought.
Right. And then before we get going, just in case anyone here
Oh,
is
thank you.
listening.
Yes.
Spoilers.
Yeah, let me put that. Hold on. I'll do it a little bit slower this time because I think it freaked you out last time. Spoiler alerts.
No, it cracked me up because now, since doing live action Star Wars and being in this sort of same studio software, I know that you have to hit the button to do that, and you just it's not animated. It's you hitting the button, and
I'm doing it manually. You realize how manual this show is. But anyways, yes. Spoiler alert: if you haven't seen the episode yet, just come back later. We're gonna talk about the whole thing. Right. And Rare Plant says, and I'm a huge Marvel fan.
Right.
Okay, but go ahead.
I like the Marvel shows. I thought I liked Falcon Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
I like Loki. I thought WandaVision was pretty good. We've discussed that before here. Mm-hmm. And then we just started watching Hawkeye.
Yes.
Which I've been enjoying. I think we're like 3 episodes in.
Okay.
I like it because it feels like a comic book.
Yeah,
it's got humor.
The Hawkeye was a nice surprise, and it was great if you watched it around Christmas time because it has that kind of like Christmas feel to it.
Yeah, but this I mean, like Marvel has a formula.
They do,
and it's a good formula, and the formula works.
Mm-hmm.
DC doesn't have a formula.
Yep,
and some people would say that doesn't work. But there's a lot of things that work within DC. I think Shazam's great. Wonder Woman's great.
Yep.
I like Birds of Prey. The DC CW shows are all pretty good.
Yeah.
The Arrowverse, Stargirl, stuff like that. All great. Harley Quinn show. Love it.
Yep.
Such a good show. So like DC, like kind of like Watchmen, like DC on television is like pretty great. And
I didn't even think about Watchmen. I'm sorry. Maybe I have to take back the whole best comic book TV because that to me is the best ever. So
Watchmen was pretty phenomenal. But I mean, the thing is, it's like, I feel like with DC, they let their creators kind of go for it.
Yes.
They kind of just let them. I know there were some issues with Zack Snyder's Justice League getting taken over by Joss Whedon and stuff going on with like the Ayer cut of Suicide Squad. But I feel like once Patty Jenkins came in and they let her do her Wonder Woman and James Wan's Aquaman is like bananas.
Yes,
it's like out there. I feel like they're learning that like when Aquaman makes $1 billion, hey, maybe we should just let these creatives do what they want.
Yeah.
And we definitely saw that with the Suicide Squad. James Gunn's Suicide Squad feels like there wasn't a single studio note.
Yep.
It feels insane. I'm gonna try to keep the language down. But so this Peacemaker show, like Peacemaker's like not even a C grade character. Peacemaker, I only know Peacemaker because of the Marvel cards from the 90s.
Right.
And I didn't even.
I mean, say DC cards, it would be DC, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Did I say Marvel?
I think you said Marvel. That's okay.
Oh, yeah. You know what I mean. The DC cards, which I still have, and never gave a rip about Peacemaker ever. So, and I think that DC probably doesn't care about Peacemaker either.
Yep.
And they just let James Gunn do whatever he wants because, like, he did the same thing with like Polka Dot Man. Like everybody that he had in the Suicide Squad was nobody except for Harley, and he just kind of got let loose.
Yeah.
And with a TV show about Peacemaker, I'm sure DC's like, yeah, just do whatever you want. It's just Peacemaker. And then the show kind of exploded and was like amazing.
Yeah. Yep.
And so I think now DC's like all in on James Gunn. And I know he's got a Peacemaker season 2 confirmed.
Yes, he did. It confirmed today, or I think it was today. Peacemaker renewed for season 2 on HBO Max.
And then he mentioned some other TV show. He hasn't said who the character was yet. And he announced that Guardians 3 was going to be his last Guardians movie. So he might just be like, DC's letting me go hog wild with their characters. I might just hang out over there. And and as crude and as violent and as disgusting as the show is, and it's super foul mouthed, there's like a lot of heart to it.
Oh, absolutely. Like it still
And
has that heart that you saw in Guardians of the Galaxy, but it's like
right,
it's like the most James Gunniest version of
right.
like a comic book show.
I think in like episode 5 or something, there's like an elderly lady, and Peacemaker just shoots her in the head, and they show that, and it's like,
Mhm.
all right,
That was when there was a butterfly in her head, right, or something.
right,
Yeah,
right, but still, like you don't see that. You don't see. I mean, you don't see it, but
yeah.
also children get shot and
Hmm.
murdered
Yeah.
by one of your protagonists, Vigilante, and it's just like if DC is okay with this, like why wouldn't you want to push the limits and stay and hang out over at DC? I'm
Yeah.
sure he loves the Guardians, but
And and you know, in this finale episode, they kind of they answered that joke that you kind of ask in like we've all been asking it in the Disney Plus shows, was like, well, where's the rest of the Avengers? This is that bad. Why aren't they calling in the big guns?
right,
And so they actually had that answer in this
yeah,
episode. They had Justice League show up. Now, granted, you're probably gonna get everybody, but they had
right.
Jason Momoa and I'm blanking on the Flash.
Ezra Miller,
Yeah, Ezra Miller show up in character for a little scene, and it's a scene where you're basically you're making pretty large accusations against one of their top tier characters, and then letting that
right?
character, both of them crack fun at each other, and Aquaman dropping an F-bomb. Like you
But it,
wouldn't see Disney allow a name brand character, $1 billion character, to show up in a cameo and have
right.
that kind of scene, right?
But the thing is, coming out of Jason Momoa's mouth, it sounds so natural.
Oh yeah,
It,
absolutely.
and what's funny, so I read this. James Gunn had an interview and talked about this scene
Hmm.
with Aquaman. So apparently he had the idea, went to Jason Momoa, he liked it, so he was like, "I'm in. I'm gonna do it." And I guess Ezra Miller found out about this cameo, was like, "I want in."
Oh really?
So Ezra Miller apparently went to the set of, I believe, Guardians 3, and they shot it on Marvel's dime.
No way.
That's what I read. I
That's
he
amazing. If
came in
that's
he came
true,
in
that's
last minute.
amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
I could be wrong, but I read it and on a few places that's what happened. That it was essentially they shot it on Marvel's dime.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just like the power of James Gunn, like his stock has just gone up. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
can I just say, like, thank God that dude was canceled.
Right? I mean, think
Thank
about it.
God.
Like, if those tweets and all the people are trying to get him canceled because of the tweets, and I mean, it was offensive stuff, but it was a long time ago. Whatever you side on that, it's fine.
It still made Marvel say you're done.
Yeah. Yep.
And DC was like, well, not over here.
Yeah. And but yeah, and look at all the things that we got because of that. So it's like and again, just this cameo alone is
It was
incredible. It's one of the great. It's one of the. I think it's just because Disney is so, and for better or worse, is so controlling of their IP and their property, and they would never allow something like this to happen.
yeah.
But then DC being like, go for it, and you just I don't know, like it's sometimes it doesn't work, right? Sometimes that
Mhm.
go for it. You're gonna fall on your face more often in that environment, but you get some amazing things like Peacemaker or Watchmen, where they really Damon Lindelof and company really pushed the boundaries of that and made an incredible like sequel series to one of the most beloved comics of all time. So I think there's more reward, but of course there could be more risk on the DC side. But I kind of like they've been winning more often than not lately.
Right. It's what's funny about this cameo too is you see the Justice League show up and they're
Yes.
all silhouetted. So you kind of get shades of Shazam when Superman shows up,
Yeah.
but you don't see Henry Cavill's face. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, that's kind of funny, but like it's obviously either stand-ins or something like that. And then you see Jason Momoa's
Yep.
profile and you're like,
Yep.
his silhouette, and you're like, oh, that's him for sure. And then you flat out just see these guys. We got
Yes.
Wonder Woman and Superman. And what's great is this moment where like he's mad because they're late, but at the same time,
Mhm.
he's more concerned about
Harcourt.
Harcourt saving her.
Yeah.
And what's funny is so the whole in episode 1 of the Peacemaker, Peacemaker mentions that Aquaman F's fish.
Yes.
That's what he says, and it's a big joke.
Yes.
And he talks about Wonder Woman. He talks about like every DC hero,
Yes.
and just like bashes them.
Yep.
And this whole time you're just thinking, oh, he's insecure about himself,
Yes.
and he's just making this stuff up. He doesn't really have a relationship with these guys. It's all just BS.
Yep.
And then this scene right here, as he's walking past Aquaman and says something, you feel like they've hung out together and maybe all these stories are real. but
It's such a good payoff.
the Green Arrow.
Yeah.
The Green Arrow saying that he's a brony and dresses in the back half of a Twilight Sparkle
Yeah,
outfit.
I was Rainbow Sparkle. Maybe it's Twilight Sparkle. I don't know who's who, but
Is it Rainbow? I don't know. It's one of the yeah.
and then Economos saying, actually, that one's true. That's the first one that's not a lie or something like that.
But it's really funny to see him actually interact.
Oh,
with the
yeah.
Justice League.
Oh, 100%. 100%. And it's so and to your point, like when it's in shadows, like, okay, cool, that's cute. They kind of had it, so there you go. But it's like, oh no, they actually got Jason Momoa and Ezra Miller. That's really cool. And sure, maybe they're the cheapest act, but I kind of they're the two I'd rather see. Like I don't see Wonder Woman or Superman having a good response that would be funny, you know?
Also, these two are coming out with movies this year. So
Yes.
they're like still all on board with
Yeah.
DC.
Like it's true.
Henry Cavill is still up in the air. I don't know if he's coming back as Superman. And then Wonder Woman, they're not making a 3 for a while, I don't think.
Yep.
So
yep.
the two guys.
Yeah, exactly. They set the whole show. The payoff there is just so funny. It's so funny. Or David Price, you're late. It's so it's such a good payoff. It's one of my favorite cameos in recent memory. Just because it was a joke that was set up day one, and it paid off at the very end. And it's something that you just would not expect because of shows we've seen so far that have used movie characters in a TV show as a continuation of a story. And it just, I think it kind of defied this show in total defied a bunch of expectations, but this perfectly encapsulates how this show has kind of defied the expectation of TV shows continuing a movie. Because what we've had so far is really only the Disney Plus stuff. Most of the Disney stuff, aside from some of those cameos in the Flash series and stuff like that, hasn't really like, okay, this is a movie and then we're gonna continue the story in a TV show. This is DC's kind of first attempt at that, right? I can't think of any others that have done that yet.
Yeah, the only thing I think of is the Flash had Ezra Miller show up.
Exactly. Yep.
And,
which is a small cameo.
Right. And then the thing is, I mean, the whole thing with Suicide Squad, you have, I mean, like Harley Quinn pops up, Batman popped up in the first one, and Ezra Miller popped up in the first Suicide Squad. So they are part of this universe.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just nice to see them sort of acknowledge it, because you do watch like Falcon and Winter Soldier and Hawkeye and WandaVision. You're like, where's the Avengers? Where are they? And it was played up as a joke that they're late.
Yes,
you know?
I know. It's so good. It's so good. Because so you're asking like, okay, if this is going to end the world, where's the A-team? You know, like where are we getting the A-team? Right. And then here they are. They show up. It's like, oh, they're late.
Yeah. Batman couldn't make it. Cyborg couldn't make it. I mean, of course, I would have loved to see Green Lantern, since we're doing silhouettes and we don't see. Actual,
okay.
Like, they could have put more silhouettes, you know, just because. But it is funny that it was like the Zack Snyder thing. And I know like a lot of the when Peacemakers first started, when they started showing trailers and Peacemakers, you know, saying bad things about Wonder Woman, and the Snyder fans were getting mad, and they're saying that James Gunn is awful to, you know, put down the Snyder movies. It's funny because here it is. He included Snyder stuff, and Snyder directed Dawn of the Dead, which was written by James Gunn. They're friends.
Yeah.
So So it's like this crazy narrative of these the DC fans where it's like they're getting mad. They're getting mad because now Aquaman's not cool anymore because he what's fish. And it's like it's a joke.
Oh,
It's a fake character. Also, like it's funny. And if anyone were to have a problem with the treatment of Aquaman, it would be Jason Momoa. And apparently he's all in on this joke.
yes.
He showed up, put on the outfit, put on makeup, got all ready in full gear, just to make a 5-second joke.
To pay off a joke about himself.
Right.
Or his character.
Right. And you know that when they mentioned it in episode 1 that this was already ready to go. This was going to be shot. Like they were, it was going to pay off.
Yep.
So,
yep. I just adore that. Question here, because you're a diehard Green Lantern fan. It's your favorite comic book character, but like not even close, one of your favorite characters of all time. Yes, exactly. So David Partridge here asks the question, oh man, when the hell is that Green Lantern show coming? Give that to James too. Would you be okay of a James Gunnified Green Lantern show? Or is in your mind, in your head canon, Green Lantern should be taken more seriously?
I think there's room for humor in Green Lantern. It's just a whole nother beast. Yeah. I feel like Green Lantern should be what Guardians of the Galaxy is. Like it doesn't need the swearing, it doesn't need the violence, but it could still have that little bit of edge. I mean, it should be a fun adventure. I don't think the Green Lantern characters are as broken as the Suicide Squad characters.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's definitely. I feel like if you were to go into higher tier characters, that he may not.
You're right.
Mess with him as much.
Yeah.
But I mean, of course, I would love to see it. What he did with Guardians was amazing. Like, who knew the Guardians?
Guardians is essentially like Marvel's Green Lantern Corps, yeah? Like, pretty much.
Yeah. They have their own rocket, essentially. They have a squirrel Green Lantern.
Yeah.
So, and they have a tree Green Lantern, and they have a green skinned lady Green Lantern. There's like a 1-for-1 Green Lantern to Guardians that you can do.
Yeah.
Like with all the characters.
You're the fan caster here. Does the show focus on Hal, Kyle, or John?
Well, from what I've read, it's an anthology series. Hal and John are not going to be in it because they want to do a movie. Who knows if that's ever going to happen? But it's supposed to cover like a millennia of story and characters. Got so like the character we saw, the Green Lantern, Yalin Gur, who's in Zack Snyder's Justice League. He's the Green Lantern of Earth, essentially, but like a millennia ago, like super long time ago. So they can be covering anybody from the spectrum, so to speak.
So do you give him like one episode, like he's saying maybe to follow Guy or something, like if there's a Guy focus episode, give that to James Gunn or something?
That would be great. Like much like The Mandalorian, where the directors come in and kind of bring their own sort of flair, but even do it more so. I would say like I would like to see different styles done. But yeah, I don't know. I know they've cast Alan Scott, who is the Green Lantern from 1939.
I love Alan Scott. Alan Scott's my favorite Green Lantern. One of my favorite characters ever. I freaking love Alan Scott.
I have a thing of him too. It's the only pops I collect anymore. I know our Green Lantern because we need to support our Green Lantern.
Alan Scott's so freaking cool. I mean, he's so golden age absurd. I freaking love him.
Right, and they cast him. They cast Guy Gardner, and I think that's all we know. And it's been in development forever. So since it's on HBO Max, and HBO Max is kind of turning into like the new place for DC TV,
right?
Like with Titans, which started on the DC Nation or DC, what is that, DC Universe app? Titans is pretty good. You can tell it's got a limited budget, but it's still pretty well done. But Watchmen and Peacemaker now, like, I'm ready. If you're going to do Green Lantern with that kind of quality, I'm all for it.
Yeah,
Really.
A great point about the quality, because that's another thing about this season. At no point did I feel like it was a TV like budgeted version of a DC like film universe. There was at no point did I like the cow. Like that was insane. Or Eagly. Eagly was fantastic. If that was all CG, Eagly was incredible.
Right.
And talk about a character like, you know, if Guardians is Groot's, you know, like that, just like you just love the character, and like if any harm comes to Groot, you best, you know, it's gonna be awful. And like the whole, like with Eagly, just because I feel like Eagly's so vulnerable, like every time both Colleen and I were just like, you better not do anything to Eagly. And then Dad hurt Eagly, I was just like, you shoot him now.
Yeah. Oliver mentioned in the chat, yeah, I love Eagly. Eagly is like, do not hurt.
Absolutely. It's untouchable. You cannot kill Eagly. You better not ever kill Eagly.
Oliver, so this week it was announced that there will be an HBO Max series with the Wonder Twins. Yep. So that's nice. And then the other day, James Gunn tweeted out something to the effect of that that DC has something for everybody, whether it's the kids versions of stuff, the super pets, or the adult versions. There's like, he posted like a picture of 4 things, and one of those included a picture of like Plastic Man arm wrestling himself. And Ben Schwartz commented simply, "Plastic Man!" exclamation points. And he's been itching to play Plastic Man.
Ben Schwartz would be great.
Right? So
Schwartz,
just get him in there.
Yeah.
Get him in there.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing, is you can just go wild with these characters, because, you know, everybody, there's so many Batmans. There's so many Supermans. I think J.J. Abrams working on Superman. And you know, Wonder Woman's kind of set in stone. I feel like Aquaman kind of set in stone. Flash as well.
Yeah.
And you could mess around and have the Michael Keatons and the Ben Affleck show up in Flashpoint or whatever. But like, these lower tier characters, just go for it.
Yeah.
Just do it. Like,
I agree.
Like,
and it works. It works so well, because there's no, maybe there are, like, you know, diehard Peacemaker fans that are watching this like, that's not my Peacemaker or whatever. But for a large swath of Peacemaker fans, like, that's like that. And especially DC, because I feel like there's just so many random characters, and they're all like, there's so many weird ones. And that's what I've always loved about DC, is just
James Gunn names drops some. He name drops Kite Man. He names drop Batmite. And it's like,
Batmite would be amazing. Oh my God.
I mean, I know Seth Green is supposed to be Howard the Duck, apparently, eventually. I guess it was in What If.
Howard Duck's Marvel, though, yeah?
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like he would make a great Batmite.
I agree. Booster Gold, that's another great one. Blue Beetle. I would love
They're doing Blue Beetle.
Which one? The young kid or the
Oh man, Jaime Reyes. It's Miguel from Cobra Kai has been cast.
Oh really?
Okay, I think they're shooting it now.
So it's the third Blue Beetle. I mean, I think both second and third are awesome.
Yeah. But the way that
would be awesome.
But I love that the way that DC doesn't really have canon.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you make a Blue Beetle, you can have the older versions. Cord, what's his name?
Which one?
Cord? Blue Beetle.
It's like Red Cord or something, like Lance Cord. The second Blue Beetle.
Yeah. But you know what? You can have him in the Blue Beetle thing and just be like, oh, he was here the whole time. It doesn't. I don't think you need to be tied to continuity.
Ted Cord. So there's been 3 Blue Beetles. You've got Dan Garrett is the first one, Charlton Comics, and then when it was bought up by DC, you had Ted Cord, and that was the whole basis of the Owl character in Watchmen. You had the original, and then that, and then you had the third Blue Beetle, which is Jamie Reyes. I think I really dig the Blue Beetle series, and so I think focusing on Jamie Reyes is pretty cool.
But I think it's great that you don't have to, like, all these DC movies feel like one shots.
Yes.
And some might get a sequel like Wonder Woman, and Aquaman, but I feel like Birds of Prey was fun. I really like Birds of Prey, and it just took characters that it wasn't tied to continuity. You didn't have to watch Suicide Squad or the Suicide Squad to enjoy Birds of Prey. You just kind of have to know the general characters. And then here we are with a third Batman in the last,
But it looks
10
good. I'm
years,
excited
11
for
years.
Batman.
Yeah.
Are you watching? We're watching an opening night. Can you watch it opening night so we can do an opening night?
I'm watching it on Saturday.
No.
Sorry. Sorry.
Could you guys imagine a series surrounding the Spectre, or please bring back Swamp Thing? Oh my gosh, Swamp Thing. It was a great show back in the day. That would be a great one.
The Swamp Thing on DC Universe I heard was really good. I didn't watch it, but it looked like it was a horror show. And I heard it was fantastic, but then they cut it short and just canceled it.
Yep.
Spectre would be good.
Chris Negri and Ted Kordwood is my favorite. There was some Justice League International, because wasn't Booster Gold in Justice League International as well, if I'm remembering correctly?
I think so.
It's been a minute. Exactly. These movies don't all need to connect. Bring back standalone superheroes. Yeah, and that's kind of what's fun about this show, like James Gunn Suicide Squad and now Peacemaker. It kind of exists within the Snyderverse, but it still gets to do its own thing because they're focusing on characters that nobody cares about. And speaking of characters that nobody cares about, that I always kind of had a soft spot for, I thought he was a cool looking character. I had the DC Universe action figure of him, was Vigilante, and what a fun character. Like, oh my God, so much. Just laugh out loud.
Like, talk about diverging from the source material.
Yes.
And then there was a version of Vigilante in the CW shows. In Arrow, like season 3 or 4, there was Vigilante, and completely was a serious take on the character.
Yeah.
This version of Vigilante, bonkers. And that's what I love about DC is in DC, like, you can have like your Batman 66 comics, and your Frank Miller Dark Knight comics. It's the same character, but different takes. And so I like that James Gunn is like, yeah, this is going to be my take on Vigilante.
Yep.
And I feel like this Vigilante can probably go into other stuff without changing too much, but you can still alter the character to be more like the comic, where he's like a sad guy getting revenge. Have you read any Vigilante?
Yes, I did, because he's like a Punisher knockoff, right? Like, wasn't he a response to DC stealing? DC stole a character, I feel like, or I'm sorry, Marvel stole a DC character design. So then DC was like, we're gonna steal one of yours, and Vigilante's basically like a Punisher guy, right? Yeah. Like, didn't his family die from a mob boss or something like that?
Right. Yeah. So this dude definitely doesn't have a family.
No. But I'm fine with it, because it's just like, I always liked the character design. I thought it was kind of cool. Yeah. And it's basically a Punisher ripoff. So I was like, I don't really care about the story. So it's kind of cool to see the character design, which is a lot of fun, and just have it be a really just crazy. But I think where I fell in love with this character was in the prison scene, where he just like totally takes on Peacemaker's dad. Was it white?
And the racist.
Like that. Yeah. And it was just so, I was just like, okay, you got me, Vigilante. I'm in love. You're on Team J now. It was so great, but so many great one-liners. It was so funny. So funny. Thank you, Dan, for calling us. Deadpool was a ripoff of Deathstroke. So, and then I felt like Vigilante was like a response to that or something, if I remember correctly. My comic book history is a little fuzzy, but I thought that was the thing behind that.
There's a lot of history to remember.
Yes.
I turned 50 tomorrow.
You turned 50. Vigilante rules. Love this character on film. Yeah, it was so funny. It was so good. And just like
when they rip the mask off him and he tries to distort his face so nobody can recognize him. So
just so, and then even in this episode where it's just like, You need to tell me when your sarcasm's happening or whatever, or the fart jokes, and it's just like the opening scene.
God, he's a moron. He's just the biggest dummy.
But he's still like a badass, like, you know, fighter and stuff like that.
Yeah, you kind of need a little bit of crazy on your side.
Right, exactly. And then one of my favorite kills was slicing the guy in the head as he's like, nobody messes with my BFF. And then he gets shot in his side. He's like, oh, bummer. And he like slings the knife behind and kills him. Can we talk about just the action? I guess it had everything. It had humor, it had gore, it had great action, it had so many things. But like the action sequences I thought were really fantastic in the show, like versus maybe some of the Disney Plus stuff where to your point, where it's like, okay, the sky turns red and there's just a bunch of flying and fighting, there's just nothing, it's not very compelling. Like this was like, you know, hand-to-hand combat and really cool fight scenes. Like, what was your thought of all the action set pieces in this show?
One of the things I don't like, it's kind of started with the Jason Bourne movies, or around that time, where it was shaky cam.
Yes,
a lot of shaky cam, and they did that in Matrix 4.
Mm-hmm.
Shaky cam stuff, I don't really care for it. Yep. But this shot the action where it was like handheld, and they put the camera right in the action. So when someone gets flipped over, the camera gets flipped over and moves with them. So you're like really in the thick of the action.
Yes.
And any sort of disorientation that you get through the camera moves is like, it goes along with what's going on with the character. So like there was a fight with Judo Master and Harcourt last week.
Yes.
And he picks her up and the camera goes up with her.
Yeah.
She gets slammed on the floor and the camera gets slammed on the floor.
Yes.
So you're able to track the action.
Mm-hmm.
It's not shaky cam, so it's not just disorienting.
Yes.
But you're able to like kind of feel along with the characters what's going on. There was a shot in this episode in the finale where
Goff Peacemaker
flips Peacemaker over and the camera's like completely following him.
Yes.
Boom, slams and hits the ground.
Yes.
And it really kind of adds stakes to the fight. It's not slick. It's not hiding behind shaky cam. It's in there with the characters.
Yes.
Which makes the audience in there with the characters. And I thought that was great. I liked all the action in the show.
Completely agree, because like even as Colleen and I were watching it right before we came on, that moment where it's like, oh, like you feel it,
you jump in your seat,
right? And that, and to your point, this post Jason Bourne cut in close, shaky cam, kind of not really showing anything. It's kind of a shortcut. It's kind of lazy, and I also
like the way James Wan does it. Where you see it in Aquaman a lot. He pulls the camera back with a wide angle lens and starts turning around in the room with the action, so you can look and see what's going on. It's not just close up with shaky cam. That just makes you aware of the camera and doesn't put you in the action.
Exactly, and it's. And I know a lot of people had those critiques on the Matrix film. I think Matrix film, or Matrix 4, I should say, didn't really care about the action or whatever. I feel like it was supposed to be something besides that. So, but to your point, like it needs to kind of go away. and the close-up shots in a lot of these fights and the way they did it, it kind of gave that closeness that I think maybe was appealing at first about kind of these close action shots, but it actually kind of still takes you into the action, doesn't take you out of it, which is what the overuse of it is done. And even one of my favorite podcasts is Blank Check with Griffin and David, and they did a one on West Side Story recently, and they kind of said how Steven Spielberg's great at kind of setting up great shots to kind of capture all of the action, right? And so they love that they did that in a singing and dancing movie, because even singing and dancing movies do the close-up shot thing and don't really show the choreography, right? So I think this was a really nice blend of like getting you in close but still not losing the sense of the fight. I think that's really cool.
And what's great also is because none of these characters are Superman or Batman or these top tier characters, anyone can go at any time, even Peacemaker. like, so it adds to the stakes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like, someone mentioned that, no major rare blend. How do you feel about no major kills at the end? And I'm like, great, you don't need it.
Yeah.
We get emotion through their interactions.
Yep.
They don't have to die in order to feel anything.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, because there was like even Economos with him telling the story about the beard, right? It was a payoff for a joke that was just kind of a throwaway. You would even probably think that
It
maybe
was sad.
John Cena was just like cracking, just vamping, like just improving it. But then you have this story that Economos tells, and it's really emotional. Like, and it hit way harder than I thought what seemed like a throwaway joke would ever hit. And I like that's a like when you talk about, if, and again, I think we both like Book of Boba Fett and we both thought it was good
Yeah.
Star Wars, but it wasn't
Mhm.
maybe as tight and cohesive as it could be. And one of the main critiques that I could say is they didn't really pay off all of that Raiders stuff in the beginning in the end. And this show, I think, did a really good job of even stuff you thought didn't even matter. They paid off really well in the end. I think that's kudos to kind of the cohesiveness of the story.
It's a really great moment for both the characters.
Yeah.
John Cena, Chris
Smith.
Peacemaker.
Yeah.
Like realizing what he does when he puts people down.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like he spent this whole series just crapping on everybody.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And him coming to the realization like, oh, like joking is one thing, but you got to take into account people's feelings.
Yeah.
And that scene where it's a dumb scene because the butterflies are stupid and don't understand human behavior.
Yes.
And they just ask him, like, it's supposed to be this tense scene, like, oh no, they're gonna catch him. And they said, oh, what's with your beard?
Mm-hmm.
Because we all know it looks weird. Yes. And we all know what he's doing. We've all seen people dye their hair. We all can tell.
Yep.
And for him to give such an earnest answer and then to be on the call and having the reaction that John Cena gives, it's like perfect. It's the best payoff to a joke that was just relentless. He just kept bringing it up in every episode. And to show how like words can affect people is like really funny to see in a show where they're shooting butterflies in the head and swearing and it's insane that there's so much heart to these characters.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
And then and then they say humans are pathetic, and just the tear is coming down his face.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think many can relate to the Economos character. I think absolutely. I think for a lot of people, you've been maybe feeling sad and lonely, or feeling like people don't like you, or whatever. People don't even notice you, like like I feel like a lot of us have felt that at times.
And then with him putting the picture on his desk at the end, shows you he doesn't have anybody in his life. All he has is his work, and he likes these people as friends. They're all kind of broken, and they kind of have they have a connection.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like it is that classic band of misfits where they don't maybe don't fit into regular society or whatever, but they have each other and they kind of build that friendship, right? It's been done 100 times, Goonies, whatever. Like it's not a new thing, but it is powerful, especially to the geek community, because we probably feel that way a lot of times. So like we build our communities, around the people that, love the things that we love or have similar interests and stuff like that. And for us older geeks, like that's how we probably survived the era where geek culture was not, the forefront of, culture or pop culture. So I think it hits a lot of us harder when we grew up in a time when liking comic books and all that kind of stuff was not cool. So I think there is a moment to that. I do want to put plus in this comment. It took Peacemaker for me to see John Cena. Great. That's a good one, Dan.
He was really good in the show.
He was fantastic.
And what's funny is, so there's a couple things. It reminded me of Falcon and Winter Soldier because with I don't remember his name. the American Patriot, John Morris.
Yeah, American Patriot.
His character has a similar sort of storyline as
Sure.
Peacemaker.
Mhm.
He was a soldier. He was,
Mhm.
kind of born to be this hard,
Mhm.
patriotic badass.
Mhm.
And you can tell that it's messing him up.
Mhm.
And one of my complaints has
John
always been
U.S. agent. That's it.
John Walker. Yes.
John Walker.
Yeah, we got it all wrong. That's why we have the chat. It helps us. We
Is that
can't.
so much better than
It's
like
too much to
releasing
remember.
podcasts in like without anything, you know?
Yeah.
And then you post it, and then they're like, "Good, you didn't know that." Or like, sorry.
We on that show, they did it great. They did it
Mhm.
great. Like I fully understood, but then they go and tell you this is what's wrong with you in the
Mhm.
Senate and all that, and that bugged me. We talked about that back
Yeah.
then. This show, since John Cena is the main character, since Peacemaker is the main character,
Mhm.
it's really nice to be able to see him kind of go through the same arc
Sure.
and kind of realize what he's doing isn't probably the best way to do it.
Yes.
But then at the end of this show, we do get a speech that hits you over the head about the motives of the butterflies and minor
Yes.
inconveniences,
Yes.
treating the planet
Mhm.
the way we do, and
Yep.
profit over humanity, stuff like
Sure.
that. It's not. I mean, it was a bit much, but at the same time, like I feel like it kind of earned it.
I I th- I
It
think
was
so because it kind of where it's different than maybe the Falcon Winter Soldier or the Falcon and Winter Soldier. What I think it maybe where it was like kind of like okay, we get it. This one it tied it into what is facing humanity. It's not
yeah,
an unknown thing. It is something we're all facing. And then also tying it into Peacemaker
his
and
struggles.
his vow, right? His vow for
Yeah,
peace. And Goff is clearly trying to exploit that. And so to me, like it all kind of tied together in a way that didn't seem preachy or anything. Like it was kind of like this is a thing that's happening to humanity. That's real world stuff. This is tying into Peacemaker's vow for peace after he killed his brother, and Goff is trying to, probably keep her thing going and not die because the cow's gonna be killed. And so to me,
yeah.
kind of it earned that sequence.
I liked that Peacemaker didn't kill Goff. Clearly,
Yes.
obviously, shot her in the stomach.
Yep.
Um, and it was almost like, I don't believe you, but I don't think you should die for this.
Yep.
Like it's like you need to find a common ground. I don't know. It was good. It was
No,
good. And he says, Goff says, do you have anything to say about this? And he said, activate human torpedo.
Mhm.
That moment was awesome.
Oh, it was such a good payoff. Again, you want a finale to have payoffs, and there was just so many. There was payoffs within the episode, payoffs within the season. Like it paid off so many things well. And the human torpedo thing was great because you had the failed try, which,
Mhm.
which was great. And then you have the like, okay, that was a failure. So you're not even like thinking about it. And honestly, I really thought I was like, oh, I think he might go with Goff on this one because they
Yeah.
kind of said this whole thing about his vow. And then he does the activate human torpedo, like, oh, and then it kills the cow, but then he still doesn't kill Goff. Like he basically Goff's gonna die anyway because there's no more food for the butterflies.
Yeah.
But they were gonna die anyway in 100 years if this thing was gonna die.
Right.
So I
And
guess
there's still barrels. They got barrels and barrels of that stuff.
sure, yeah.
I do like that him shooting her into the cow was sort of payback for the diary.
Yes.
She kind of deserved it. And I do like at the end he tells her after Eagly,
Yeah.
"You're my
I
second
love that
BFF.
scene.
Don't tell Vigilante,
I
but
love that scene.
you're my." And it's just like such a good moment. And
Mhm.
it's just nice that you can just be friends, and no matter what happens, like,
yep. And it's
you don't have
something
to.
that I think James Gunn did really with the Guardians movies, just like kind of showing friendships and relationships in a
Mhm.
in a really natural and real way. And Adebayo and Chris Smith, Peacemaker, I thought their relationship seemed really genuine. I think for a Peacemaker, like he did really think they were friends, and so the betrayal hurt. Like it did really hurt, and to kind of see them have that resolution and her realizing, okay, that was messed up. I'm sorry. She tried to save him, and she ended up killing the cow, which was great. And have that moment in. I thought it was really emotional, and it paid off in a really good way.
Yeah, I like the hardcore arc where they started the season in the bar with this super uncomfortable scene where he's like trying to
Yes.
hit on her and she wants to be left alone. And
Mhm.
that's her whole story. She doesn't feel like she's a leader. She doesn't want to be with other people. She wants to be left alone.
Mhm.
And in this moment, you have everybody surrounding her
Yeah.
all like, this great loss. And it's
Yeah.
nice at the end when she just holds his hand. Like, they need each
It was
other,
so
which
sweet.
is
It
nice.
was so sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had great friend chemistry talking about Adebayo and Peacemaker. Yeah, I thought she was great. I think Stevie Apple is great, but I thought Adebayo and their relationship was great. And yeah, to your point about hardcore, like her arc was really good, right? Because you're right, she was talk about the scene here in the bar. There was like this sentence, she was kind of on her own, and with the death of Mern, she kind of takes on this leadership role in that kind of power vacuum. And I guess I didn't realize, is she James Gunn's wife? Because he posted on like Instagram, my Valentine or whatever, or
Or
spouse,
longtime girlfriend.
longtime
I'm
girlfriend,
not
whatever.
sure, but they are in a relationship. Yeah.
So I like that story as well. And you really, I thought she was dead. I mean, but apparently gunshots don't affect these characters like everybody else. But they must be related to Black Chrysanthemum. I guess that's the moral of the story.
Right. I'm
Those.
sure they're wearing body armor.
That's true. She did have a bulletproof vest on.
Yeah.
She did. Let's see. Oh yeah, one loose end. What happened to the anti-gravity
Oh
helmet?
my gosh.
Such a funny scene.
Like, seriously, if season 2 starts with outer space and the helmet floating, and then some weird alien character picks it up.
That's a really good call for like an opening scene. That'd be
Yeah.
great. It was so funny. And then Vigilante's just like, guys, he's not gonna take it or anything. He just kind of watches it go up. Oh my gosh. Oh, that was funny. That was
A hand fan. He moves around with a hand fan. It's so stupid. The jokes are so stupid, but so good.
yes.
They get you.
Oh my god. Yeah, exactly. I want to see other things in Dad's quantum closet. Let's talk about that a little bit. So he, is the plot with him and his father is this big thing throughout the season, and you kind of had that. It was in the last episode, the very emotional kind of climax to that, where he gets out of jail, he gets all his white supremacist friends, and they go to try and kill Peacemaker, and they they meet their unceremonious end that they deserve. But then there's kind of
Almost.
right, yeah. And then you have the kind of final battle between I guess his White Dragon, right? Was his character White Dragon, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And he kills him. He kills his own father. It's intense. Go ahead, please. You gonna say something?
No, I was gonna say Economos takes out all those dudes. Economos, who takes out Judo Master
Yes.
with the tire iron, and then he takes out a talking gorilla
Yes. Oh my
with the
god.
chainsaw.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my god.
And
But
then he
then
takes out all those
I
Nazis.
love in this last one though, but he's gonna go out and then he breaks his leg trying to get over the fence.
It was awful. And him just crawling. Him just crawling. He probably had more kills than Peacemaker.
But maybe because if you count Yeah, if you count the fact that he planted the Sonic Boom helmet in the barn, which knocked a bunch of people out. It's true.
Great.
Um,
That's great. He just barfs.
yes.
After, I mean,
And then he's like, not another kaiju, not another kaiju.
Right.
Oh my god. But okay, so but then in this episode, his dad shows up as a ghost. Clearly, this is going to carry over into season 2 because in the end, you know, sitting on his porch and his dad still shows up there. Very
Still
Lost
arguing.
yeah, it's very Lost-esque. But I'm kind of glad that his dad's still around because I feel like it's a dynamic that is not resolved yet. Clearly, it needs to be resolved at some point.
What was it? Was it Justice League? Superman also talks to his ghost dad.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit different though. But I mean, Robert. It's Robert. Is it Robert Patrick?
Yeah.
Yeah. T-1000.
So bad.
Oh,
this is the awful person.
Oh yeah. Again, horrible, awful person. And
everybody wants him dead, and Peacemaker's like, but he's my dad.
Yep. Ugh. And that is as they said on Lost, all the best daddies or all the best cowboys have daddy issues. There we go. Got there. Yeah. Oh my god. Let's see. Yeah, he did bring him in the 2 I really thought it would have been the scabies one. Yeah, Steve AG appreciation thread, King Shark's motion capture, and John Economos.
Right.
Agreed.
No Sean Gunn.
What?
I was expecting to see Sean Gunn. Maybe I was almost Weasel. I was expecting Weasel to come back.
That's true because he that was that the post-credit scene for Suicide Squad? Like Weasel was still alive or something? Yeah.
It was one of them. That was the mid-credit scene, and the post-credit scene was the setup for Peacemaker.
Okay.
Series.
Okay. Yeah.
Where he was in the hospital.
Yes, you're right. Ryan B, I'm hoping the dad comes back for the next season. I assume he will.
Right.
But
in the last shot when he's sitting there with his dad and Eagly pops into frame, did you think Eagly was going to say something? It really looked like he was going to talk.
It hung on a little longer than I thought it would, for sure.
I was like, don't say something. Please don't say something.
Maybe Sean played the cow.
Maybe. He was two characters. He was Weasel, and then he also played Calendar Man in Suicide Squad. He was in Belle Rev, and he had like dates tattooed on his head.
Oh, really?
I believe he was Calendar Man in the Suicide Squad, and both in the same scene as Weasel and Calendar Man. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, no, I it's kind of one of those things. Ron Howard always has his brother in the movie, so
right.
Oh no, don't say that. Greatest ship pilot. Eagly does not have a butterfly, and don't say things like that.
Eagly's head is too small.
Exactly, won't even fit in there. Won't fit in there.
Scott D said he expected Nathan Fillion to show up. I was thinking the same thing, but he was the detachable kid.
Yes,
in the Suicide Squad. Spoiler alerts. He does not make it to the opening credits.
That was a fun movie. That was a fun movie. I dug that.
I love that movie. I've watched that movie like 4 times.
It was so good. Yeah. All right, Ralph, we're coming up on an hour here. So final thoughts, and everyone, if you want to give your final thoughts in the chat, we'll post them in as well. But Ralph, you have the floor. Final thoughts for season 1 of Peacemaker.
My favorite show of 2022.
Whoa, bold claim.
Easily. Yeah, there's that. Then Righteous Gemstones, which I don't know if you watched that, but
that looks great. Yeah,
it's gnarly.
Really,
it's gnarly. Yeah, almost just as violent.
It can't be worse than Search Party, which we started watching, and it's just been an absolute mind screw for me. I need to stop watching it. It's so crazy.
And then Book of Boba Fett. But Peacemaker, I mean, it's so great. And James Gunn said he's going to be writing and directing season 2.
Yes.
So
yes. I think it's great. I agree. I think I love that HBO kind of does it week to week, so it's like that thing you look forward to every single week, and I think
Right.
it is the show we probably look forward to the most every single week to see. And
This one was agonizing though. I just wanted to keep watching. I just really wanted to keep watching.
Yeah.
Um,
And it was just so good. It had everything. It had everything. Like it had comedy, it had heart, it had drama, it had action, it had rated R gore and language and themes. Like there's
art
something.
jokes.
Yeah, there's something about in this world where we're kind of hit over the head in like way too many superhero movies. It didn't necessarily change the game in terms of like plot design or anything, but it was kind of just, it's such a breath of fresh air to have a show like this when superheroes, just superhero genre, outside of Deadpool, which I also think kind of fits in this realm, kind of just flips the middle finger to the genre while also still being earnest.
Embracing it. Yeah,
it's like it's both
weird.
making fun of and like staying true to it at the same time. Like it fits in this space that seems so refreshing. Because we're 20 years into this, comic book is the biggest movies ever. Maybe 10 years is the biggest movie ever, but
and it does it without breaking the fourth wall. Like it makes these characters feel more real.
Yes. That's a good point. Deadpool breaks the fourth wall, which is part of the character.
Yeah. But it does it without Deadpool, like especially the first one, has a lot of heart. But it's so self-referential. This one makes you feel more for the characters because they feel like real people. You get to see all their flaws.
Yes.
And yeah.
Yep.
I don't think we have a rating system, but I give it 10 out of 10, A+, across the board.
Yeah.
It's just entertaining. And I hope this is what I want from season 2. A new dance number for the opening.
Ooh, that could be controversial. The dance, the dance is so good.
We're gonna have new characters.
You're right.
We're gonna have new characters.
It's true. It's true. But okay, it's so perfect. Could you?
Yeah,
can you change
keep
it?
The song. Keep the song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because really. Oh wait, that's the wrong one. Sorry.
Do you really want to taste it?
Can you get us dinged?
It's short enough. They can't ding me on the clip that short. This isn't Mattel. Right. It's not Mattel's song. I'm fine.
And where's our Clone Wars episode?
that
one's dinged. That one got dinged while we're
you know what? But even that one, I didn't get struck. It just got pulled from YouTube. So even then, Disney did the right thing. They said, hey, listen, you guys, you showed way too much of that episode. We're not letting you show it.
My favorite thing about that episode was Colleen walking into the room and saying, you guys aren't on the air anymore. And we just kept talking about Star Wars.
Oh my God. Final thoughts. DC needs to back up the Brinks truck for James Gunn. Amen. Ryan B. favorite show of the year so far, and personally think best DC. Go ahead, please.
There's a couple of episodes he didn't direct of this series. One of them was directed by a guy named Jody Hill, who's like the co-creator of Eastbound and Down, Vice Principals, and Righteous Gemstones.
Oh, okay.
And he directed those and like The Foot Fist Way and the Seth Rogen movie where he was a mall cop, Operation whatever, Cease and Desist or whatever it was. So like even if James Gunn doesn't like direct these things, have him get people to direct stuff he produces. Like I don't just need Peacemaker 2, have him also be set up something where it's like when we're not in the 8 weeks of Peacemaker or whatever, get someone else to do a Polka Dot Man show, have someone else do Kite Man, or just these random characters. Do a Batmite.
Yeah.
Do a Batmite show.
Yep.
I just feel like he has the perfect blend of fun and heart.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't have to be violent. We've learned that with Guardians.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
yep. No,
just give them things, have them just write pages and pages of ideas for different characters and just start giving them to people that are like-minded creators and just keep doing these shows. They should have DC shows like they do Star Wars shows.
Agreed.
It should be a constant rotation and make it characters that people don't care about.
Yep.
And make us care about them.
Yes.
Because going into Peacemaker, you don't have any preconceived like expectations. Obviously, the Suicide Squad, you get expectations with John Cena. Yep. But, when you go into Boba Fett and you've been waiting since 1983 to see Boba Fett come out of the thing, and you're like, he's this cool badass, and I can't wait to see Boba Fett in action. And if it's not that, then you get let down. But who's going to get let down if you do there's a DC character named like Speedster. He's on skis. He has skis. Like that's his thing. Is he's a skier. So no one's going to have expectations for that show. So you're good. You can do anything and be like, wow, that was great.
And probably the Skister fan community is a lot smaller. So if you take them off, it's like there's literally dozens of us when they come complain about it.
Yeah. Yeah. So do weird stuff. Do the weird stuff.
Ryan B, best DC show ever. I think Watchmen's still number one for me because that was an incredible. I mean, it's just a one-off, so it's a different kind of show. It's more a mini series, I think.
And Watchmen Watchmen's not like what you call a crowd pleaser. You're not going to just go pop in Watchmen.
You're right.
Maybe revisit it every couple of years. Yep. It's really well done. It's beautifully executed, but like this is like a crowd pleaser. Exactly. This is what I'm going to go back to like in a couple months.
Yep. Agreed.
There's room for both.
Yeah, no, I agree. James Gunn said he's going to have to make a new opening. Dan says 5 out of 5. Give me season 2 now. DC needs to give James Gunn the pen for many other DC properties. Ahem. Swamp Thing. Ahem. Dead Man. Boss of Brent. Ahem. The Spectre. Hal freaking Jordan.
Hal Jordan Spectre. Make it Ryan Reynolds.
There you go. There's a redemption.
It's been 11 years. We haven't heard peep from Green Lantern.
Long live Skeester.
I don't know if it's Skeester. I forget his name. It's like Speedy. It's not Speedy. It's Aeropsychic. It's so dumb. But Condiment King. Do a show about Condiment King.
Watchmen is better. Agreed. But I think you're right. It is a different show. It's a different show. Right. But I do think just
it's a better show.
It's a better show, but it is not even the same type of show as like Peacemaker is a like crowd pleasing, fun like story that you can watch again. Watchmen is like art. It's like this story that is beautiful, moving, amazing. It's like all of the Lindelofian glossed leftovers. Like a really well executed story arc through just one season, but
Peacemaker still deserves all the awards.
Agree. I don't disagree. John Cena. I've always thought he was like he was fun. Like when he did a role that fit in with his kind of shtick, it was fun. But it was never like something that I thought had any weight or any type of like emotion behind it. It was always kind of just like goofy, fun kind of stuff, which is, he was kind of in his zone, like The Rock, kind of like if Rock is in this kind of zone, it's like, it's fun. It's The Rock doing The Rock stuff. But like John Cena was able to still be like the John Cena that's kind of hokey fun, but also have like real emotion. Like it make me care about the character. Like it was really good.
Also, he learned how to play the piano for this.
Really?
He didn't. Yeah. He learned how to play piano for this.
Wow,
and that's really him playing.
A movie that we watched is that Fire movie that he did, but I guess that was fake. That's awesome.
But
that was a moving scene where he plays. What was that song? On My Way, Home Sweet Home. That was awesome. But I think both Colleen and Stevie liked it. Yeah.
So
there you go, Scott D. There's the wife stamp of approval.
Yeah.
Take it to the bank. Oh, Colleen loved it. She all caps.
And the all caps bled into the eye, and it like she So excited.
Loved it. Yeah, 100%. All right, we're at time here, but there's at least one other thing that isn't related to this I want to just get your take on real quick. Because
John Williams composing the theme for Obi-Wan.
Oh no, I was thinking more the Chip and Dale trailer dropping. Thoughts on this? I'm going to share my thoughts because I think maybe I already see you're not digging it. I'm really excited for this. I feel like it's a continuation of Roger Rabbit and Disney Afternoon, and I think it could be a lot of fun.
I think for geek dads, this is a plus because it's something where you're like, okay, cool. I can watch it with the kids, and it's got people that I like. My main interest is the fact that Lonely Island produced it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I know that it's going to be a little more off the wall than what we're getting in the trailer. I feel like the trailer may have been cut a little safe.
Okay.
So I mean, listen, it's going to be on Disney Plus.
Mm-hmm.
I have Disney Plus. Of course, I'm going to watch it. I like Andy Samberg. I like John Mulaney. Of course, I'm going to watch it.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I wasn't. I'm a little bit older than Jay, and so like the most I got into the Disney Afternoon era was Gummy Bears, and then that's it. Like I was just at the very beginning of that before I dropped off.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm not the biggest Rescue Rangers fan, but I mean, dude, come on, Lonely Island, love them.
I am in the heart of the Disney Afternoon generation, so much so that Toontown was nice and all, but before Toontown, there was a Disney Afternoon section of that part of Disneyland that I thought was really cool. That was a little bummed that they got rid of to put in Toontown, even though there's Chip's or Gadget's Go Coaster, which is still there, which is a Rescue Rangers ride, right? Is it Go Cat?
And Chip and Dale's Acorn Treehouse.
Yeah, like is it? I thought they shut down the treehouse though. Is that? Can they still go in the treehouse?
I don't know.
I haven't been to Disneyland in a while. Going for my birthday though this year. I'm excited.
I've heard. I went Monday.
Yeah, let's see. Actually, it's not sure how I feel about this one. Looks too meta for its own good. But again, I feel like it could hit that sweet spot of
the trailer's cut like a kid's movie, I think.
Really? Okay.
I think I think I think it's gonna be fine. These two guys are great.
They are. Dan, dude, I'm so excited for this. Mulaney and Samberg. Yeah. I mean, the theme song has to stay.
It's gonna be in there. It's gonna be in there.
Gummy Bears, DuckTales, Chip and Dale, Darkwing Duck. They're all fantastic. Those are like top tier kid shows.
What's hilarious is like this one. I'm just like lukewarm on. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll watch it. What I'm really excited for, I think my most anticipated movie this year, and we've got 4 DC movies, including Michael Keaton as Flash, and we have Aquaman, and what's the other one? Batman, and then the Shazam, Black Adam. The movie I'm most excited for is Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Hey, listen, I love that first movie, so I
can't even deal with it.
Knuckles, come on. Well,
did you see that Super Bowl spot? I mean, that big game spot.
I don't think I did. I saw the trailer, but I didn't see maybe that one. But I will say, so Ralph, can we commit to doing a post opening weekend Screen Geeks for each of those films? I think we need to commit to that. Maybe.
We'll do everything. Movies are coming back.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll talk about Batman. I'll talk about Batman.
We definitely we're doing one for Batman. I'm seeing it opening night.
I'll do this. I'll do this too. I mean, you can see the Disney Afternoon toys behind you.
I know they're right there. There's some Darkwing Duck. Oh, I guess I'm closed off. You can't see it now. But anyway, let's see. Come on, you wanted some DuckTales or watch some DuckTales. Oh yeah, Ralph, you watched some DuckTales. Why are you lying?
Not the new ones.
No, not that. Oh God. Anyway,
a little bit of the old ones.
Kind of wish it wasn't mixed with live action. I understand that. But to that, I say the new DuckTales, the rebooted DuckTales 2017 DuckTales, and I know I've maybe said on the show a few times, is really good. So if you want to like just the animated Disney Afternoon, and it's the whole universe, even Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers shows up in the new DuckTales. Highly recommend watching that show. So to me, like I am at peace because they did a fantastic, total overarching 3-season run of fantastic episodes that honored Darkwing Duck, DuckTales, Tailspin, Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, in such a satisfying way that was good for kids and grown-ups. DuckTales 2017. It's on Disney Plus. The whole series is on Disney Plus. Watch it.
With the voice of Ben Schwartz.
And Ben's. I mean, it's a great cast. It's a fantastic
Sonic.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, he always plays blue characters. He plays Sonic. Was it Dewey, the blue duck, and Leonardo in Ninja Turtles. Nothing about the Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers trailer made me think it was a good movie. I really want to be wrong. I think it's gonna be good. Darthane says the meta aspect has me cringing. I think it could be fun.
We'll see how it goes.
Gargoyles does count for Disney Afternoon.
It was on Channel 9 in the afternoon.
Trailer made me think back to Tom and Jerry episode where the country mouse visits the city mouse. Or to make that up? Yeah, no, that was just country mouse because wasn't it like? Didn't he have like sing a song, have like a guitar or something like that?
Probably.
Because he like Polly Corton, he did ride Rambo. Polly Corton, he did ride Rambo.
This definitely looks better than the Tom and Jerry movie that just came out.
Oh God, we watched that. That was bad. It wasn't great.
Yeah.
It wasn't great at all. But anyway, Ralph.
All right.
Our 50th episode. I thought it was one of the best ones. I think it's because we had that birthday energy for you. Happy birthday,
old man Ralph.
Old man Ralph. You know what though? Like I feel like I'm getting more gray hair in my beard than you have your beard in your beard, my friend. I don't know. But everybody again, let's wish Ralph a happy birthday. I hope you have a good day tomorrow. Any special plans? Any special events that you're gonna be doing?
James Bond Museum. I'm gonna go see some Aston Martins and some Lotus Esprits and some maybe a little Nelly. I don't know what's there. I decided not to look, but it's at a car museum. Nice. And it's the Bond in motion. So I'm hoping there's a little Nelly.
Okay,
got to be a little Nelly. It's a helicopter that fits in 4 suitcases. It's got to be easy to ship.
You're right. Overman says give Ralph a like exactly. Give a like for his birthday.
We'll give a subscribe for his birthday.
Actually, why don't you give a subscribe to Ralph's fantastic show, Live Action Star Wars. Let me pull it up here.
You joined us yesterday in the chat.
I did. I was organizing some stuff for my own shows, and I watched your show on my old lappity top. Live Action Star Wars. This is a channel that you run with your good friend James Hewlett, and I've been on your show a couple times. You just did this recap of Book of Boba Fett, the entire season, but you covered every single episode. And I joined you for one of them. I think I was on
episode 3.
It was episode 3. I think you're right. Where'd you put?
If you go to the top to regular episodes, there you are.
That's me right there. There I am.
But holding a yak face,
which I do not own.
Nope.
Fortunate.
What was it? It was a PKE meter.
I think it was.
Out of your hand and added a yak face.
But next week you're going to be talking about Caravan of Courage and Ewok Adventure. And you basically want to go and hit that subscribe button and that bell icon, liveactionstarwars.com. So basically, Ralph, you're covering all things live action for Star Wars.
Yeah. No cartoons, no books, no video games, unless they have live action cutscenes, which we've done.
So there you go. So give for a birthday. If you really want to do something nice for Ralph's birthday, go over to Live Action Star Wars. Give him a subscribe.
Our new show. So we need it. We're a new show, so we need it. And then on our first year anniversary, Disney Plus has decided to launch the Kenobi show on our first year anniversary, May 25th.
Exactly. It's exciting.
John Williams is doing the theme.
May 25th is the true Star Wars day.
It is.
Let's see. Happy birthday. Dye the beards. No one will notice.
No.
Fantastic comic man playing. Ryan B. Thanks, guys. I just started your channel recently. I'm really enjoying it. Keep it great. Thank you, Ryan B. Thank you. Make sure you give that subscribe and that bell icon so you don't miss any of the new episodes. Happy birthday, Sugar Britches. Indeed. Ralph, I think that's it. Maybe I don't know if we'll have anything in between, but definitely we'll be back to talk about the Batman opening weekend. And yeah, there may be something more after that.
Franz.
Hey, Franz. All right. Thank you, everybody. If you haven't hit that like button, hit it right now to hit that subscribe button and that bell icon to be notified when the latest episode of Geek Dad Life drops. And again, give Ralph a follow over at liveactionstarwars.com for his YouTube channel, or Casino Skunk Productions for all things Ralph created and related. And yeah, Ralph, any final thoughts?
No, thanks to everybody for the birthday wishes. And if you are going to subscribe, thanks in advance.
All right. Take care, everybody. Thank you, everybody in the chat. This was a lot of fun. Excited for Peacemaker Season 2. What? You always make me jealous of your lightsaber game, and Mace Windu is one of the best. It's one of the best. All right, everybody. Take care. Happy Thursday. We'll see you Sunday for the next Toy Geeks. And until next time, hasta luego and goodbye. Bye, Betty.